Thank you, Acting Speaker, and it's always good to follow my good friend, the member for Sunbury. He always gives a good contribution, so it's great to hear. But I rise today. Well, we are getting towards the end of the sitting week, and everyone's looking forward to having a bit of a break. But I rise today to contribute to the Victorian Energy Efficiency Target Amendment Energy Upgrades for the Future Bill 2025, and I want to acknowledge and commend the Minister at the table for introducing this bill and her team that have done a lot of work on this, and it's fantastic to see. So thank you. There's over 2.5 million households and businesses that have participated in the Victorian Energy Upgrades program since it began back in 2009. And of course, the program provides discounts for the installation of energy efficient appliances, such as some of those appliances being heating and cooling systems, hot water systems, induction cooktops, clothes dryers, fridges, freezers, TVs, shower heads and lighting upgrades. And of course, these energy efficient appliances can help Victorians to save hundreds of dollars on their power bills. And of course, we also know it reduces CO2 emissions, and that's one of the great aims out of this particular bill and practice. Of course, it reduces the cost of living for some of the vulnerable Victorians and those with low incomes. What I mean by that is that it is better for them to assist them with these types of things, and will reduce their energy bills and provide new appliances for them for greater heating, greater cooling, even better cooking appliances and far more energy efficient appliances. So benefits all round to all families, but in particular those that are more vulnerable. Of course, the Allan Labor government recognises just how important this program is, and that's why we're amending the Victorian Energy Efficiency Target Act 2007 to strengthen the Victorian Energy Upgrades program and to extend that program through to 2045 in line with the government's net zero emissions commitment. And it allows further discounts to be introduced in the future and to introduce new mandatory training for service providers. Of course, these measures will strengthen consumer protections. They'll ensure that more Victorians can benefit from this excellent program. And I've seen this firsthand, just how important the Victorian Energy Upgrades program is for the constituents of my electorate in Melton. And with the Minister for Climate Action, Energy and Resources, we recently visited Ben and Joan Anthony at their family home. What a lovely family they are. And these long-term Melton residents installed a 10.32 kilowatt rooftop solar system with solar homes rebates, and they've made the most of the energy upgrade incentives, including draft proofing, heat pump, hot water systems, LED lights, shower head replacements. They replaced their gas ducted heating with reverse cycle air conditioners. And of course, the Anthony's are just one household of many in Melton who have taken the great advantage of this program and these great discounts offered by the Victorian Energy Upgrades program. In fact, there's almost 59,000 upgrades have been completed through this program in Melton over the last 5 years. I think Melton's one of the highest take-ups in regard to solar panels. And that over that last 5 years, the 59,000 upgrades has delivered $33.6 million in discounted appliances. And that's an enormous amount for my constituents, and of course it's reduced the bills of my constituents by $15.5 million thanks to these upgrades, and that's $15.5 million of savings that can be spent by my constituents in other ways in supporting their families, and that is an enormous saving in regard to these upgrades. But we all know that the impacts of our cost of living, we hear it a lot, are hitting Victorians hard. And I'd like to mention the member for Tarneit who mentioned yesterday the many times I've discussed my concerns in here about the obscene fuel price gouging going on in Melton, and it's something that we'll get to the bottom of and we'll have addressed, and maybe the ACCC will get off their hands and do something about it. Hopefully, we've called on it, and we'll see what happens there. But of course, our government has introduced the fair fuel policy, which is fantastic, and it will assist my constituents in Melton. And of course, there are other bonuses that we're assisting families with the cost of living. The $400 school saving bonus, and we've just recently changed the public school uniform policies. And of course, this bill is about addressing cost of living support. And again, I went to some of those figures where my constituents have benefited from over the last 5 years, and it will continue to go on. And Melton's one of the fastest growing areas in the state, if not the country, and the projection on houses up to 2050 is 109,000 houses that will be built in Melton by 2050. So that's more than doubling the house number that's there now, and I would make a fair assumption that most of those houses will be connected to solar, and some of them will certainly have batteries, and they'll be using, obviously, have a number of the instalments from this VEU program. Of course, this program supports more than 2,200 jobs on an ongoing basis, and they're important jobs for people and important for our economy to keep people in work and for them to have the money that they need to support their families. And of course, those opposite might not believe in the science of climate change, but their opposition to this bill shows that they don't support these workers, the 2,200 jobs and workers that work in these positions to assist this program. And if you believed in climate change and that, you'd believe in all of the jobs. So, and that's what we're up for. Not only just saving on cost of living and bills, energy bills, it's also about providing work for people to support their families and support their communities. So, of course, on our side of the chamber, we care every day about Victorians and Victorian workers. And how could you be against jobs and cheaper bills for Victorians? And that's exactly what we're striving to achieve here. And it drives long-term investment in the energy sector. It creates jobs and many types of jobs. Not just engineers, not just business managers, technical workers, tradies, clerical workers, administrative, sale force staff, a whole range of jobs that will be created by this program. And of course, meeting our renewable targets and storage targets will deliver around $9.5 billion and around, in the longer term, 59,000 jobs to Victoria's economy over the period from 2023 to 2035, which is not that far away. So over the next 10 years, we're talking about an enormous amount of jobs. I know I've only got a short period of time to go, but there were some things that I really wanted to go to in regard to other things that we've delivered. Of course, just some facts and figures I'll quote. Since October 2024, 48% of electricity in Victoria generated by cheap, clean renewables. And that's what supports this program. That's exactly what we're delivering, and that is, and I do drive in from the Western District many times during the course of the year, where we've got the wind turbines, the solar panels, the solar farms, and we know that the transmission wires and transmission towers are coming to transmit that energy from the Western District and the Southwestern District into Melbourne to be shared by all households. The other thing is that this energy program will save, as I said, on families' energy bills, with households saving $150 and businesses saving $870. And so that's a substantial amount each year for families. And we've seen, on average, the wholesale energy prices drop by about 2.2%. So there are great benefits in this bill and in the introduction of this bill. It's a very important bill for our communities. I know my constituents have benefited by it. It's a great bill, and I commend the bill to the House.